Hey all, welcome to the channel, and yes, something a little out of left field again today by way of Transformers Beast Wars Neo. Kinda, sorta, at least a KO of a Beast Wars Neo character. The only Beast Wars Neo character that I can recall now that I think I've looked at on the channel is a KO of Gilidart, which is this. And the original KO I had of this, well, this whole head and arm broke off. And even now with this KO, though I'm not going to go back and review it, I did that 2017 or so, and I'll probably put a link or a card or something in at some point. But this head still does not like to latch over here. But I have not broken the shoulder off. The original had the shoulder broken off. So I've kind of got another version now of Gilidart that's not exactly Gilidart because it's a KO from good old Montoy, but it's okay. That's not the focus today. The focus today is on the only other Beast Wars Neo Predacon that I have, and it's a KO of this guy. Don't know him? It's Saberback. And we're going to talk about him in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you are at it, light 'em up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton, and I'll let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for. All of that's in the links down in the description below. Also in the description below, if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time. And yes, this is a KO of the Beast Wars Neo Saberback character. Now you're probably looking at this, if you know Beast Wars Neo, and saying, yeah, Saberback don't look like that. That is not the right color at all, at the very least. And the entire transformation's a little bit wonky and slightly off, and maybe it is. Old Montoy had this packaged in its package in robot mode. However, because and I'm pretty sure that I'm correct on this, I do believe I'm correct on this, I hope I'm correct on this, the official versions of these guys were packaged in their alt mode. So we're actually going to start in alt mode the way we would if this was official. Yes, this is definitely a KO. Yes, this is definitely a stylized color, but is it good or is it bad? Well, we are about to find out when we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And so yes, indeed, here we are with two Predacon dinosaurs from the Beast Wars Neo version of the Beast Wars continuity, I suppose you could say. Again, like I said, these are KOs, so it is what it is. I looked originally at Gilidart way back in episode 320 in October of 2017. That one broke, so this kind of spare one luckily has not. As a matter of fact, his tolerances and whatnot seem way better. Gilidart isn't so far off of his coloration, though, to be fair, the real Gilidart is a little more of a yellowy color. And the silver that's on the back of this one is like more of a green there. The silver horns on this one, they're like a brownie on that one. So like there are certain stylizations taken. Neither of these can do that weird like third mode that like they're known to do for like, I don't know, a battle mode or whatever it is. So that's worth noting because they do have a lower parts count. There is less to them. It is what it is, right? But here's how the Dino Boys look together. Before we look at Saberback though, we're going to look at kinda the packaging first. Good old Montoy with their 6+, and this obviously looks like the RID 2015 kind of circle. I don't know what that logo is in the middle of it. These are the Wild Beasts. I have no idea who this is supposed to be either. The ones I got recently, Break and who was the other one I got? Stampy had a version of Starscream on the packaging, and that packaging was way more entertaining. On the back of this cardstock, it says their names and it has the actual Beast Wars pictures, but like that's not what you actually get, right? Again, Wild Beasts and transforms from robot to Wild Beast. Collect them all. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Not even that funny. And here we have the Predacon's cunning liar, the dude known as Saberback. In fact, some actually believe he has mystical powers. He doesn't, but you know, he's such a good liar and con man that he makes others believe it. The actual one is more gray, and there are lines up around his stegosaurus plates that's like purple and blue. The plates themselves are like a greeny color, so like this, the coloration's obviously off. I mean, the coloration is of 0, right? It's not the guy. It's the right body type. The articulation here, similar to what the official has. The back legs, they still have a knee, and the ankle can move forward and back, so you still kind of have that same sort of movement that you had with the official. The hip doesn't move forward quite as much, which is why we kind of have this space here. Maybe if I pushed it, I might be able to get it there, but I don't want to push it. The front paws look very unnatural, as you can see. Hooves, I don't know what they are. That's because the official has another part where like the toe sort of flips up, and we don't have that here, so it's all one piece. I think that's supposed to, by rights, flip around to make a hand or some such thing. So we do have liberties taken not only with the color, but with a lower parts count, and the articulation of the dino a little bit more limited. I'll also note, and this is a big difference, the tail is one solid piece. He can still hold it like a flail or a blaster or whatever, but it doesn't open up like the official does with the blaster inside and 3 pieces. He can't really do the, I don't know what we exactly call it. I guess we'll call it the battle mode, I suppose. That weird third mode. He only goes to robot. Let's do the transformation, and then we'll give some scores for the transformation and the articulation. But right now, in terms of color, I like the color. I think it's okay. I'm not gonna hate on it, but no, it's definitely not the color it should be. Right style body, wrong colors used. Although I suppose you could make the argument that the plates at least are green. A much lighter shade of green, but at least they're green. And honestly, I kind of like the orange, even if it is wrong. Let's get going on the transformation. So we begin by taking the back piece off. Again, that's off. A couple of little clips in here. The handle is down here. It's small, but to my surprise, it's not as fragile as I thought it was going to be, especially for a KO. Real shame that this tail doesn't actually open up like the official one, but you know, what are you going to do? Also, I guess I'll note it too, there's definitely some like paint splotches, and like if you look right here, for example, like there's a bad paint splotch there. So let's just lay that aside so we can do the main robot itself. For the main robot, we'll come here to the back and bring this down around the feet. The feet do still kind of like tab in, I guess we'll say. This will end up being the feet of the robot mode. We're going to take these pieces here, and that should come off, and same on the other side should come off, and then we should be able to, split all of this all the way up to the head. There we go. Nice. Now, a lot of this boils down to kind of standing him up and maneuvering the body. So I'm going to stand him up. Hopefully he'll stay stood up, and then we'll do the rest of the transformation when I reorient the camera. Okay, so all I did was straighten the legs down, bring down a panel on the side, and bring down a panel on the side. Then these pieces on a circular piece in here. Actually, I'm going to move these out to the side. On a circular piece in here, this will like kind of rotate up, and this will sort of rotate up. Take these chest pieces out to the side, and then we should be able to, on the ball joint, I do believe, swing this around. Hold on, I want to make sure that I'm doing this right. It's a bit iffy. I'm going to bring that out and straighten up the body, I think, first. Okay, now we should be able to bring the head pieces up. I guess you could leave them down, but the head pieces are supposed to kind of go up over the body. I'm just trying to, and I'm trying to be somewhat, I don't want to say delicate, but somewhat strategic here to make sure I don't actually break anything. Yeah, right. It should be kind of up like that, and then the whole chest piece comes out and it pegs in on the side here. Like that. With that behind, and then we turn the arm around. Let me make sure that I got this settled right. Okay, good. On the other side, head down. On the other side, we do the same sort of thing. Turn the arm around. And now this here, on the ball peg, should be able to rotate around. I'm just trying to remember how to get it rotated around. Now, let me get that rotated around. That's the only thing that I'm fighting with, and other than that, the transformation is basically done. Give me one moment. And just so you know, the reason I was having a difficulty turning this piece around is because I hadn't actually rotated it up far enough to clear the shoulder and the head. You got to make sure that that circular piece at the shoulder is rotated up enough to allow all of this to flip around. So that was absolutely my fault, and an oversight on my part. Last thing to do should be, now that we've got the body all straightened up, should be to collapse the waist in. Put that behind, and boom, in the end, here we have Saberback. If I can get him to stand now. Come on and do it, dude. In his robot mode. Please stand for me. Yeah, there you go. And here we have a little bit of a comparison next to Gilladart, the other Beast Wars Neo KO, of course, that I have in robot mode. They look good together. And next to the Kingdom Waspinator, I'm just saying, you know, Saberback, $4, Waspinator, $40. However, to be fair, Waspinator has a lot more parts, his plastic feels better, and of course he has a ton more paint, naturally, right? But still, they all look kind of good together, right? I do tend to be a little more critical of something like Waspinator because it is more value for money, right? To be fair, I will forgive more here because it is $4, you know, and $4 Canadian at that. So, the coloration we already said was a 0. The transformation, the only reason I did a couple of cuts is because I didn't want to push things where this is a KO and potentially risk breaking something. However, that being said, I don't feel like I'm going to break anything on him. He actually, for a KO, and a cheap KO, he actually feels pretty decent. I do have one ball peg slightly loose, and that's the one that holds this piece on, and it's only slightly loose. Nothing worth worrying about. I think the transformation's great. I'm going to give it a 9. Then we get to the articulation for the guy, so taking Gilladart out of it, and Gilladart is still rough. Like, I think the official is a bit rough too, to be honest with you. And you can see he holds his tail, by the way, if I didn't mention it previously. We're going to take the tail out of his hand, just so you know. By the way, there's nowhere else that I can see to store that. The head, no movement except for going back. Nothing side to side, left to right, unfortunately. The arms can T-pose all the way out to the side. Because they're on ball joints, forward, back. I guess if you got this out of the way, it could go all the way around. Elbow to 90 degrees, bicep swivel. The hands this time are built in to the forearms instead of being its own separate piece. Too bad, but it is what it is. We have a waist, which is a bit shocking. Since the waist actually expands, it's a bit shocking. Also, if you expand the waist, you can get an ab crunch, which I think is really cool. Legs, they can go forward, they can go back. Not really, I guess a wiggle at the thigh, which was common for Beast Wars stuff. 90 degrees at the knee, no ankle tilt or anything like that. You can get most of what you want, and honestly, like, though I might be fiddling with it a little bit here now, he doesn't stand too bad once you find his, like, center of gravity and stuff. You can get some dynamic poses. I mean, kind of a sign of the times, and I don't know how much extra the actual one has. Like, maybe the actual one does have ankles. I know the actual one seems to have a little bit more movement at the wrist, but other than that, I think it's fairly similar. Also, the entire chest section of this is completely different. It doesn't have like that skull that can move up out of the way. So, you know, again, highly stylized look. I'm going to say about a 7, maybe 7.5 for the articulation. It's not bad. It's better than I thought it was going to be. Let's say 7.5 just to be nice. So we had a 0 and we had a 9. So that's going to average out to what, 4.5? We had a 7.5. I don't know. For a KO, this is probably like a 6-ish, 6.5. It's definitely not as good as the official and the actual. But you know what? For $4, I think it will fill the bill just fine. And here we are once again, and here he is. So, it's so funny, you know. I don't expect perfection from a $4 KO because it's $4. It's so weird. This guy is, in essence, a deluxe class. A modern deluxe class here in Canada, by the time you put taxes in, you're looking at about $40. Close enough on. I mean, there are things I'll forgive for $4 on a KO that I would really like to see on a $40 official deluxe. Case in point, things I forgive on this, the color. It's a KO. It is what it is. I do wish that these front paws could move, or I'm calling them paws, feet, hooves, whatever, could move ahead more. Like the official, but I get you're reducing a bit of a parts count there, and it's fine for what it is. All of this section, I'm sure that the official probably collapses and whatnot a little bit tighter and better than this. It is panel-tastic, there's no doubt about it, but it's not atrocious. It's just slightly rough. That said, it's a fine enough solid dyno. In robot mode, it's a fine enough solid-ish robot. The whole tail being his accessory, like, that's still there, but because it doesn't open up or do any of the things, that weird third mode is something that this just can't pull off. Nevertheless, if you're kind of in for, very loosely, building your Beast Wars collection, and you're okay with a KO being a placeholder, then this might be up the alley for you, and might be easier, possibly cheaper, than trying to hunt down the official. If you have the official, should you replace it with this? Yeah, probably not. But at the end of the day, this is good enough that I can say that I think the KO is acceptable, and I bet that even with all of the accoutrement hanging off this guy, that the official is actually pretty good and pretty fun. Now with Gilladart and Saberback, I guess that gives me 2 of the Transformers Beast Wars Neo characters that I kind of never thought I'd have. 2 of the Beast Wars Neo Predacons that I never thought I'd have. And I guess for now, until we get a Magmatron at some point, I guess for now they're going to have to follow my Beast Wars Megatron into the trenches, into the future. Let me know what you think about this KO. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course, the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you are at it, please hit the subscribe button. Stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel. And especially don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.